Hello, my name is Bernadette Malarkey, and on behalf of Fáilte Ireland, in this webinar, I'm going to take you through how to make the most of the tourism opportunities associated with your local greenway. As we go through the webinar, I'll refer to a number of websites and links, and you can find all of these in the checklist that accompanies this webinar, which you can download from www.failteireland.ie. So who is this webinar for? This webinar will be of interest to local businesses and community groups that already have a tourism offering, or those that can develop a new tourism offering around their local greenway. This includes, for example, accommodation providers, activity providers, visitor attractions, cafes, restaurants, pubs, local shops, tour guides, bike shops, community groups, and so on. The development of a greenway in your local area presents opportunities to gain new business from locals, domestic visitors and international visitors, and the webinar is designed to help you understand how you can make the most of those opportunities. In the webinar, we will cover a number of topics. The tourism landscape will give an overview of who's who in tourism, where our tourists come from, and the differences between domestic tourists and overseas visitors. We'll take a look at what tourists look for while on holiday, how they generally spend their time in a local area, and where a greenway experience can fit into that mix. We'll see how the different experience brands throughout Ireland can impact on the greenway experience, in other words, depending on whether you're based in Ireland's hidden heartlands, Ireland's ancient east, Dublin, or the wild Atlantic way. We'll take a look at the National Greenway Strategy and spend a little time hearing about how the local authorities' role is in developing your local greenway and how you can get involved with them to make sure you're kept up to speed with developments as they come on stream. We'll take a look at how greenways have impacted on counties Mayo and Waterford in the past few years and hear from some local tourism providers in both counties to get a sense of how they have converted the potential of their greenways into additional revenue and sales for their respective businesses. And finally, the latter part of this webinar will point you in the direction of how best to promote your greenway experience to local, domestic and overseas tourists so that together you can encourage visitors to stay longer and spend more in your local area. So starting with the tourism landscape. There are two key players in Irish tourism, Fáilte Ireland and Tourism Ireland. Fáilte Ireland is the National Tourism Development Authority, and their role is to support the tourism industry and work to sustain Ireland as a high-quality and competitive tourism destination. They provide a range of practical business supports to help tourism businesses better manage and market their products and services. Fáilte Ireland is responsible for promoting home holidays to the domestic market, and they manage the consumer website discoverireland.ie. Tourism Ireland is responsible for promoting the island of Ireland in the overseas markets, and the consumer website managed by Tourism Ireland in those markets is ireland.com. We'll come back to both consumer websites and how you can make the most of them later in the webinar. A number of other organisations also play important roles in the sector, and some of these could be more or less important to your specific business, depending on the type of tourism experience you offer. For example, accommodation providers could be involved with the IHF, B&B Ireland, or the Irish Self-Catering Federation. Or transport providers might be members of the Coach Tourism and Transport Council of Ireland. Avia represents visitor attractions, and IAAT looks after businesses engaged with tourism activities, and many tour guides are members of the ATGI. Two other important links to the overseas markets are the ITOA, whose members bring several 100,000 overseas visitors into Ireland each year, and the IGTOA, whose members bring in golfers. The important thing here is that no matter what area of tourism you work in, there is an association that's looking after your interests and can offer to help you in addition to Fáilte Ireland and Tourism Ireland. In thinking about the tourism potential of your local greenway, you need to be aware of how important tourism is as an economic driver. The sector is a huge direct employer, and tourism spend generally helps to support other jobs in a local area also. It employs more than education, construction and agriculture, and it's particularly important to the economies of rural Ireland, places where most greenways are being developed. Greenway development has been particularly beneficial in stimulating a very positive tourism impact in the counties in which they have already been developed. In Mayo and Waterford, the greenways have resulted in increased tourism numbers, the emergence of new businesses, and the Greenways have really helped to promote the wider destination as a must-see visitor experience. When thinking about your local area, another important thing to bear in mind is where we are. Many of our visitors will have specifically chosen to go to Dublin as they want the excitement of a capital city. Others want to get outdoors in the lush green landscapes of Ireland's ancient East, or get off the beaten track in Ireland's hidden heartlands. Some will want to feel the spray of the sea on their faces along the wild Atlantic Way. In thinking about your own business, it's important to think about your experience brand and how you can bring the destination brand promise to life for visitors on your Greenway. Fáilte Ireland is here to help you, and the organisation offers a range of supports both online and through the corporate website fáilteireland.ie and indeed on the various teams on the ground. Fáilteireland.ie is a rich resource which will provide you with information and a range of support tools in many areas, as you can see here. These include commercial development, research, funding, and of course, specific resources for each of the experience brands. So depending on whether your business is located, you can avail of assistance that is tailored specifically to Ireland's ancient East, Wild Atlantic Way, Ireland's hidden heartlands, or Dublin. An important development in 2020 has been the creation and delivery of COVID-specific supports. I'd like to draw your attention to the COVID Hub on fáilteireland.ie and would encourage everybody to check in with the COVID Hub often, as it's updated regularly with additional supports. The COVID-19 Safety Charter has been developed by Fáilte Ireland to reassure our visitors that tourism businesses around the country have undergone extensive training and agreed to adhere to COVID-19 preventative protocols and employee training. The Safety Charter is available to accommodation, visitor attractions, activity providers, pubs, cafes and restaurants, and we would encourage you to apply for the Safety Charter for your own business, as we know it's something that customers are coming to rely on for comfort and reassurance when making their holiday plans. Now that Brexit has been finalised, a suite of Brexit supports is also available through fáilteireland.ie. In thinking about how we can make the most of our local Greenway, we first need to think about our potential customers. Who are they? What do they want from an outdoor activity in our area? And how our particular experience can best meet those needs. So starting with who are they? In a typical year, the overall tourism pie generally follows this pattern, with half of all tourists originating in Ireland, i.e. domestic visitors. 44% come from overseas markets and about 6% are from Northern Ireland. Of course, this is based on Ireland as a whole, and there are regional variations. So, for example, the border counties would get the lion's share of the Northern Ireland market, and places like the South East would typically attract more domestic visitors than overseas visitors. If we look at how the overseas markets break down, 4 big markets account for approximately 70% of all overseas visitors. They are GB, North America, Germany, and France. Again, of course, there are regional differences, but at a macro level, this is a good picture of where our visitors come from. For the coming year and into early 2022, the strong focus will be on the domestic market. Research is showing that the demand for domestic visitors to engage in outdoor activities has never been greater, and cycling or walking on greenways is a perfect fit with that demand from the domestic market. Greenways are on the bucket list for many domestic visitors. They're accessible to all ages, all types of family units, and year-round. So now is the time for them to get out and explore greenways throughout Ireland. Although the focus for now is on the domestic market, it's also important to keep one eye on the overseas markets at all times. The planning and booking pattern in international tourism can be up to 2 years ahead in some markets. So it's important to remember that if we want to see overseas visitors on our Greenway in late 2022, 2023 and beyond, we need to start thinking about promoting our Greenway to them sooner rather than later. Fáilte Ireland research into the domestic market undertaken during COVID-19 has revealed that Irish people still want a holiday in Ireland, so naturally the domestic market remains a key focus for us all in 2021. Recurring themes show that value for money is an important issue, with many having experienced or expecting to experience a drop in household income. The demand for holidaying in the outdoors has never been stronger, and there's a real trend towards demand amongst domestic visitors to seek out new destinations in Ireland. This represents a major opportunity for us all going forward. The focus within the domestic market for the foreseeable future will be on a range of family units. This includes extended families, family units with children, and family units without children. And of course, a number of these markets are particularly important to us during the school holidays. The key motivation for the domestic market is feeling carefree and having fun, doing simple basic things to enjoy in nature. They want to clear the head, and a short break enables a break from routine where people can reset and get ready to go again. Within the domestic family units, two priority segments have been identified. We call these the unconstrained adult market. The first of these are those over 45 years. Their drivers are safety, cost, and value. They tend to holiday more midweek, and they're looking for safety, dining options, ease of travelling to destination, and accommodation choices. Generally, they will engage in a large variety of experiences, but outdoor activities are most important. Their booking trends show that they tend to contact accommodation providers directly and respond well to traditional advertising. The second segment is what we call pre-family. Drivers are cost, the type of attractions available, and value for money and safety. These are more likely to holiday over the weekends and have above average intent to take a short break in Ireland in the next 6 months. They want to escape and have great experiences, and outdoor activities are even more important to them, with walking and hiking. Booking trends show a propensity to research online using review sites like TripAdvisor. I want to bring your attention to where you can find more information about understanding your customer, both domestic and overseas, on fáilteireland.ie. Fáilte Ireland has an exceptional research team who provide all of this information at our fingertips, and it's well worth spending a little time to familiarise yourself with the website and the wealth of information available on it. The link to the research pages on fáilteireland.ie is on the checklist that supports this webinar. Everybody watching the webinar can have a role in creating and delivering a brilliant holiday experience for our tourists. They all need accommodation, from 5-star castles to self-catering to B&Bs, guest houses and glamping. We can provide activities that people want to engage in. Some of us will have visitor attractions that people will want to visit. And festival and events will bring our heritage and culture to life. Food, of course, is an essential part of the holiday for every visitor. So each of us will have an answer to one or more of those needs. They also need to see all of us working very closely together so that they can have the best holiday, and we as a local community encourage them to stay longer with us, spending more. This is a perfect win-win. The tourist has a more comprehensive and authentic experience, and individual businesses get a chance to optimise their share of the tourist spend. To create memorable tourism experiences, the Greenway infrastructure needs to be bundled with a range of associated services. This means that bike car providers linking in with accommodation providers, or accommodation providers linking with a local guide, or two outdoor activity providers creating a joint bundle. The important thing is we make it easy for the visitor to enjoy the outdoors in our local area. In Mayo, for example, the Mulranny Park Hotel has created a food trail in association with several Mayo food producers to showcase the wonderful artisan food in the vicinities of Mulranny, Newport, Westport and Achill, and all using the Great Western Greenway as its backdrop. In Waterford, the Cliff House Hotel has developed a Greenway getaway that includes bike hire and backpack picnic camper. When we talk about creating tourism experiences, what we mean is an exceptional travel experience. It should be engaging, immersive, and hands-on. It should connect visitors to the special people, places, and cultures in a community or region. There are opportunities for businesses along the Greenway to collaborate on creating experiences that will help to tell the stories unique to your particular Greenway and create special, memorable moments for visitors to your local area. Put simply, a tourism product is what you buy, a tourism experience is what you remember. We're entering a really exciting phase in the development of greenways throughout Ireland, supported by the National Greenway Strategy. Strategy for the future development of national and regional greenways defines greenways as a recreational or pedestrian corridor for non-motorised journeys developed in an integrated manner which enhances both the environment and quality of life of the surrounding area. Greenways are for everyone. They're enjoyed by pedestrians, wheelchair users, children in buggies, and several different types of bicycles such as tandems, tag-alongs, toddler trailers, e-bikes, and so on. Greenways enhance the environment, the economy, and the quality of life of the surrounding area. They provide an excellent amenity for local populations, They also contribute to the rural economy by attracting visitors away from busy tourist hotspots and creating job opportunities in tourism and hospitality businesses at a very local level. Local authorities have a key role to play in greenway development in Ireland, and there are numerous greenways in planning, under construction, or nearing completion throughout the country. Mayo and Waterford are excellent examples of how the local authorities have worked with the local communities to develop greenways which have had a transformational impact in both regions. In both Mayo and Waterford, the Greenway has had positive social, health and economic benefits for the local community, as well as stimulating in tourism growth. The Great Western Greenway in Mayo welcomed its first visitors in 2010 and now enjoys visitor numbers in the order of 250,000 each year. An economic impact study in 2016 shows that the Greenway resulted in 200 direct jobs and 710 indirect jobs, with a local economic benefit of 38.9 million. This is up from just 90 direct jobs and an economic benefit of 7.2 million 6 years previously. The Waterford Greenway opened in 2017, and within 2 years over 560,000 people had used the Greenway. Experience shows us that the real potential of your local greenway is achieved when local businesses work together for the success of the wider area. As an example of what has been achieved in both Mayo and Waterford, we'll now hear from two businesses in both counties as they share their stories with us. I would also like to draw your attention to an RTE nationwide programme that tells the story of the Waterford Greenway, and again you can look at the checklist for the link to this programme.
My name is Stephen Lynch and I opened the Coach House Coffee in 2017 with my business partner Craig D. Coach House Coffee is located at the halfway point of the Waterford Greenway. The Waterford Greenway is 46 kilometres in total and we're based in Kilmar-Thomas. Kilmar-Thomas has been a huge benefactor of the Waterford Greenway. Kilmar-Thomas is now a hive of activity like it once was back many years ago. We have seen many improvements from businesses have opened, improvements to existing businesses, and a huge range of new and improved local amenities. Initially, Coach House Coffee opened as a 26-seater cafe in 2017. At the time, we employed approximately 10 full-time equivalent staff, all of whom were local. In 2018, the Greenway welcomed over 280,000 visitors alone that year, and that's why we increased from a 26-seater cafe in 2017 to a 150 indoor-seated restaurant that you see here today. Agencies such as Fáilte Ireland, Waterford County Council have various initiatives such as Ireland's Ancient East, which really helps to drive footfall into the area and also, most importantly, to retain visitors to the area, who in turn will increase their spend in the vicinity, helping local businesses and local jobs. There's a collective responsibility on us all to ensure that the Greenway is a success going into the future by working together.
My name is Travis Zeri. I'm the owner of Greenway Bike Hire. We opened in 2010, about 2 weeks before the Great Western Greenway opened. So the Greenway starts in Westport, finishes in Achill, which is all part of the Wild Atlantic Way. It started off very much as domestic tourism, but as the years go on, it's more international. And so we're probably about 60% domestic, 40% international at the moment. And it's bringing in about 9 to 10 million euros every year to the local community. We've come from one shop to now having 5, 2 employees to now having 22. The Greenway, from day one, the local hotels, restaurants, businesses, everybody has taken this on board and brought it forward. We started offering more activities to the customers, so the Greenway was our starting point. We did eventually, we added sea kayaking tours, orienteering, raft building activities. And the reason we did this is to keep people in our vicinity. The Greenway it's so diverse. We have everybody from, young parents with young kids to grandparents with grandkids. The Greenway, it's amazing. It really caters to everyone.
Thanks to both Stephen and Travis. That gave us some really interesting and inspiring insights about the potential that greenways bring to a local area. And as noted in both Mayo and Waterford, it's really critical that we all work together as a community. That's when the opportunity to convert that potential is at its best. We're now going to look at ways to promote and sell your Greenway experience. Creating and delivering your Greenway experience is an essential first step to making the most of your local Greenway, but making sure that potential visitors to the Greenway can find you and the experience you offer is just as important. It must be easy for potential visitors to be able to find out about you before they visit the area through online research predominantly, and also while they're in the local area. So for the remainder of this webinar, we're going to look at the various ways you can get your message out there. I've broken down the array of sales and marketing options that are available to you across 4 main headings. We'll look at what you can do in your own business. We can look at what you can do with Fáilte Ireland, how you can engage with Tourism Ireland for those overseas visitors, and also the importance of local partnerships and cross-selling. So let's start with what you can do in your own business. Your website is your shop window, and it's essential that you have a good, simple website that tells potential customers about your Greenway experience and, where appropriate, encourages them to buy online. Your social media channels can offer a quick and cheap way of communicating your message to potential customers, as well as staying in touch with previous customers. Social media is a good way to inform potential customers about other things to do in your local area, with restaurants, attractions, and so on. And remember, happy customers can become your best salespeople, so finding ways to stay in touch with them is important for both repeat and referral business. While visitors are in your local area, it's also critical that they can find out about you easily, so things like Greenway-friendly signage and flyers that are available in your local tourist information office, accommodation providers, or visitor attractions are also important. And don't forget to reference your experience brand on everything you do. As an example of what others are doing, we can look here at the Waterford Greenway bike hire. It has all the relevant information on their website homepage. So, for example, that includes information about the bikes, their various locations, prices, information about their free shuttle bus, and the Greenway itself. They also use their social media platforms to create awareness and sell the experience. Greenway Bike Hire in Mayo has that all-important Book Now button on their homepage, and see how they've expanded their offering from bike hire to include kayaking. Social media platforms also help them to create awareness by engaging videos on their YouTube channel, also encouraging visitor reviews on TripAdvisor, and using platforms like Facebook to highlight awards. Moving on to the second way in which you can promote and sell your Greenway experience, we're going to look at how you can get involved with Fáilte Ireland. As noted throughout this webinar, Fáilte Ireland can provide you with a range of resources to help you, starting with discoverireland.ie. Managed by Fáilte Ireland, discoverireland.ie is the go-to place for information on the best things to see and do on holiday in Ireland. Backed by an extensive advertising campaign each year, its focus is on driving referrals from discoverireland.ie to industry websites and booking engines. It targets domestic visitor and also feeds content to the international consumer site ireland.com. So by having a presence on discoverireland.ie, your Greenway experience can be promoted to over 55,000 visitors per week on both Discover Ireland and visitdublin.com, as well as almost 350,000 visitors per week through ireland.com. So how do you get listed on discoverireland.ie? Go to the Fáilte Ireland corporate site, that's fáilteireland.ie, and under the heading Marketing Your Business, click on Get Listed. This will bring you to a number of options regarding your listing. If you already have a listing but would like to make some small changes, click on Update Your Listing on our consumer websites. If you don't already have a listing on discoverireland.ie, click on Get a New Listing on our consumer websites and complete the form. Festivals and events that are planned on or near the Greenway should click on the Events portal to submit all relevant details here. As we've mentioned previously, you will also find the links in the checklist that accompanies this webinar. If you need photographs or videos of your local area for use on your own website or printed material, you can access copyright-free photos that are free of charge from Fáilte Ireland Image Bank, Ireland's content pool. One final recommendation in relation to engaging fully with Fáilte Ireland is that you should also register your tourism business at www.tradeportal.fáilteireland.ie. This will ensure that you're kept up to date on supports, training, funding, and other promotional opportunities that come through Fáilte Ireland. If you run into any difficulties with updating your listing on discoverireland.ie, or indeed if you have specific queries on how you can get involved with Fáilte Ireland, don't hesitate to contact the customer support team at customersupport@fáilteireland.ie, or you can call them on 1800 242 473 and they will be delighted to help you. And thinking about those overseas markets, Tourism Ireland is your window to reaching international visitors without ever having to leave your office. Once you've finalised your listing on discoverireland.ie, you'll be pleased to hear that your listing will also appear on the international consumer website ireland.com, which has a presence in 29 international markets. In addition to having a simple listing, you could also submit a priced offer which can be uploaded free of charge to ireland.com, or you can send a press release to Tourism Ireland, which they may send on to their international media base. The best way to do both of these is to visit tourismireland.com and click on Industry Opportunities. This takes you to the Industry Opportunities section. By clicking on Have You a Story to Tell, you can submit your press release, and by clicking on Listings and Offers on Ireland.com, you can submit your priced offer. Both are free of charge and both present a great opportunity to get the message about your Greenway experience into the international marketplace. The final sales and marketing opportunity we're going to look at really comes into its own when visitors are in your local area. Creating local partnerships and cross-selling the Greenway, the various experiences along the Greenway, and the wider geographic area are key to encouraging visitors to stay longer and spend more in your local community. Put yourself in your customer's shoes and think about how you would look for information if you were holidaying on or near your local Greenway. Customers don't see boundaries, so it's vital that we collaborate with one another to ensure that we can give the visitor all the information they need. This means we all need to know what's on our doorstep, especially front of house and customer-facing staff. Accommodation providers, activity providers, visitor attractions all need to be working together. Think about the stories we've already heard from Mayo and the Waterford businesses. We need to include information about other visitor experiences that are available in our local area, on our websites, our social media channels, and in our word-of-mouth recommendations. Locals are also really important referral agents. They too are using the Greenway, so it's essential that they are aware of the various experiences on or adjacent to the Greenway. Working together is a win-win. The visitor can have the most memorable tourism experience, and we can make the most of our local Greenway for the entire community. It's important that you link in with other local tourism marketing groups. That might be a county-wide group, or it might be more local to the area in which your business is located. The critical thing is to get involved and work together with a common goal, i.e. making the most of your Greenway. So how can you leverage the opportunity of the Greenway in your local area to grow your business? Think about what small changes you could make that will encourage Greenway users to spend time and money with you. Are there new business ideas you could develop to enhance the visitor experience on your local Greenway? Remember, you're not alone. A range of supports and in some cases funding is available from Fáilte Ireland, your local authority, the local enterprise office, leader, and for those of you in Gaeltacht areas, Údarás na Gaeltachta. The important thing to do is take that first step. Thank you for your time. We hope that you found this webinar useful. Don't forget to download the checklist that accompanies the webinar on fáilteireland.ie, where you will also find direct links to the resources referenced throughout this webinar, for example, the COVID Hub, Fáilte Ireland Research, and the link to the nationwide programme about the Waterford Greenway and others. The development of a Greenway in your local area is a fantastic opportunity for locals, domestic and overseas visitors. Be sure to update yourself on timelines, developments that could be of interest to you, for new business opportunities, and remember, there's lots of support out there to help you make the most of your local Greenway.